Hello adventurers, welcome to httravel, where we hunt for the most magical places on the planet. Today we set foot on New Zealand, the paradise at the end of the earth, where the mountains touch the clouds, the sea sings, and every corner tells a fairy tale. Imagine kayaking through Milford Sound, sipping beer in Hobbiton, or learning the haka with the Maori, while sheep graze under the stars. With 5.3 million people and 25 million sheep, New Zealand is a symphony of nature, culture, and creativity. Are you ready to explore the land of Kiwis? Type 1 in the comment to get your spirit up, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and fly to New Zealand, where all adventure dreams come true. Lying alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, 2,000 kilometers from Australia, New Zealand is the most isolated country in the world, with an area of 268,021 square kilometers. Consisting of two main islands, the vibrant North Island with the geothermal Rotorua, and the majestic South Island with the Alps and 700 smaller islands, New Zealand is a breathtaking natural picture. The population is only 5.3 million people, 2025, but there are up to 25 million sheep, a ratio of 5 sheep/person, making the grasslands as green as in The Hobbit. Wellington, the Windy City, capital with its hair blowing in the wind, is a cultural hub, where the cafes on Cuba Street are bustling with ukuleles. Auckland, the largest city, is a modern gateway to discovery. The blue-red-white flag with the Southern Cross constellation glittering, symbolizing the Pacific sky. With a GDP per capita of about $47,000, 2025, tourism contributes 10% of the economy, welcoming 3.5 million visitors a year, fascinated by Milford Sound or Hobbiton Village. English and Maori are the main languages, with Maori reviving through the haka and the hangi ceremony. Imagine standing on 90 Mile Beach, the salty sea breeze, the smell of fresh grass blending, the Southern Cross shining brightly. New Zealand greets you like an old friend, invites you to sip a beer at the pub, listen to Maori stories, and live slowly in paradise. New Zealand is a colorful history book. The Maori, the indigenous people, arrived here from Polynesia around the 13th century, building a culture in harmony with nature. In 1642, Dutch explorer Abel Tasman named the land New Zealand. In the 19th century, the British arrived, signed the Treaty of Waitangi, 1840, with the Maori, but land conflicts broke out. In 1893, New Zealand became the first country to grant women the right to vote, leading the way in gender equality. By 1907, the country had gained independence from Britain. Today, New Zealand is a democratic country, a member of the Commonwealth, and famous for its peace. The Te Papa Museum in Wellington houses everything from waka, Maori boats, to colonial artifacts. Imagine standing beside an ancient waka, listening to the waves tell of Maori's journey across the ocean, and feeling the history New Zealand embrace you. New Zealand is a breathtaking picture of nature. The Southern Alps in the South Island, with Aoraki/Mount Cook at 3,724 m, are a hiking and skiing paradise. Milford Sound, the eighth wonder, is enchanting with its steep cliffs, cascading waterfalls, and wading whales. Tongariro National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is home to the Ngauruhoe Volcano Dome, in Lord of the Rings. Maori, who make up 16.5% of the population, are at the heart of New Zealand culture. Hangi, the ritual of touching noses and exchanging breaths, is a sacred greeting that connects you to the community. Haka, a warrior dance, bursts with energy and is recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. Maori meeting houses, are where ancestral stories are told and hangi feasts are held. Maori live in harmony with nature, from Rotorua to the Bay of Islands, building wooden houses and cooking hangi, a dish roasted on the ground. Equality in culture allows women to express their love through handmade gifts. Imagine touching noses during hangi, hearing the haka echo, and feeling the Maori spirit as a warming fire. The Waitomo Caves in the North Island are a natural wonder where Arachnicampa luminosa insects glow like the Milky Way. In the 30-million-year-old limestone cave, you float on a boat, with no lights, just the neon blue light from the insects to guide you. The sound of dripping water blends with the silence, like traveling to space. The Maori discovered Waitomo centuries ago, considering it a sacred place. Every year, 1 million visitors come to experience everything from canoeing to ziplining. Imagine yourself gliding through the underground, starry sky, the lights twinkling, and Waitomo telling ancient stories about the land and sky. Rotorua, the geothermal capital of New Zealand on the North Island, is a place where nature explodes like a sci-fi movie. Waiotapu is enchanting with its bubbling pools, bubbling mineral mud, and neon blue champagne pool, like a landscape from an alien planet. Hell's Gate, a famous Maori mud spa, invites you to soak in warm, soothing mud while the smooth steam caresses your skin. The Polynesian Spa, located on Lake Rotorua, serves up steam-baked bread, fragrant enough to leave you both relaxed and hungry. The Maori people, the soul of Rotorua, maintain the tradition of hangi, a dish of meat and potatoes roasted underground on hot rocks, with a smoky, sweet taste. Maori festivals in Te Puia are filled with vigorous haka and ancestral stories around the campfire. According to Tourism Rotorua, the region welcomes 1.2 million visitors a year, fascinated by its hot springs and indigenous culture. Imagine soaking in the Polynesian Spa, the fragrant steam, the misty volcano in the distance, the chirping of the tui birds. Rotorua seems to hold you close, whispering about the magic of the land and sky. In Dunedin, Baldwin Street is a 38% incline, recognized by Guinness as the steepest street in the world, 2020, where every step is like conquering a mini mountain. With a slope that makes tennis balls roll non-stop, cars have to park diagonally, Remtongan tightens, and drivers need a heart of steel to avoid slipping. Dunedin people turn the challenge into fun, organizing Baldwin Street Gutbuster, a race to the top that attracts hundreds of runners, from locals to tourists. Every year, the Jaffa Festival releases 30,000 Jaffa candies rolling down the street, creating a bright orange tornado, raising money for charity. The houses along Baldwin Street are built at an angle, but the interior is perfectly balanced, with sofas and dining tables reinforced with anti-slip. According to Dunedin Tourism, the street welcomes 50,000 visitors a year, all of whom want to try climbing and taking selfies at the world's steepest street sign. The locals, calling you mate, even sell t-shirts with Baldwin's face on them as a badge of honor. Imagine climbing Baldwin Street, sweating, the crowd cheering, the cool Dunedin sea breeze. At the top, you receive a Gutbuster medal, overlooking the sparkling Otago Bay, feeling like conquering a miniature Everest. Baldwin is more than just a road, it's the Kiwi spirit, turning hardships into smiles. Type 9 if you want to try climbing Baldwin, or comment crazy steep to share your feelings. Dunedin awaits you with challenges and laughter. Whanganui, a small town on the North Island, declared itself the Whanganui Republic in 1986, with its own passport, president, and public holidays. It has just 40 residents, but it has a 100-year-old Victorian pub where you can buy a visa for $5 and drink beer with locals who call you mate. No police, no cameras, just faith and old wooden houses. Every year, the presidential election allows dogs and sheep to run. Imagine sitting in the pub, holding your Hwanganui passport, listening to locals tell stories about the sheep president, and laughing at the endearing weirdness. The small flightless bird, the kiwi, is the national symbol of New Zealand, representing humility and love of nature. Shy and waddling with silky brown feathers, the kiwi has a superior sense of smell, using its long beak to search for insects in the forest floor. Amazingly, kiwi eggs weigh up to 25% of the mother's body, the largest of any bird, making each laying a miracle. The people, who proudly call themselves Kiwis, have erected Kiwi Crossing signs across Rotorua and Stewart Island to protect the rare bird. According to the New Zealand Department of Conservation, there are only 70,000 wild kiwis left, with conservation programs such as Kiwi Recovery helping to revive the species. Kaguralam, Rotorua, and Stewart Island are places to see kiwis at night, when they leave their burrows to hunt for food. The Maori regard kiwis as symbols of loyalty, remaining faithful for life, building simple nests under the forest canopy. Imagine yourself tiptoeing through the Rotorua forest, the moonlight filtering through the leaves, hearing kiwis rummaging through the dry leaves, then seeing them waddle like a little friend. The air smells of earth, the tui birds chirp in the distance, and you feel the kiwis' love of nature. Type 11 if you love kiwis, or comment, "Lovely bird," to share your feelings. New Zealand is waiting for you to discover this furry icon. Wellington, the Windy City, capital of New Zealand, is famous for its average 18 miles per hour winds, enough to blow your hat off, but locals still sip coffee on Cuba Street. This vibrant art street is filled with murals, ukuleles, and quaint cafes serving craft beer. Wellington houses have tenda sepatu, outside their doors the custom of removing shoes to keep the house clean, as a reminder to live a tidy life and have a light heart. Te Papa Museum, the cultural heart of Maori storytelling through waka, boat, artifacts, and indigenous art, attracts 1 million visitors a year. Weta Workshop, the birthplace of Lord of the Rings effects, opens its doors for you to explore behind the scenes of the film. At night, Courtney Place lights up with jazz, tuatara beer, and stories told by the bar. According to Wellington Tourism, the city is a destination for 500,000 visitors a year, fascinated by the free spirit. Imagine walking down Cuba Street, the sea breeze blowing through your shirt, the smell of coffee mixed with the sound of a ukulele, an artist drawing your portrait under the lights. Wellington is like a close friend, inviting you to be real, to enjoy every moment. New Zealand, the adventure capital of the world, is where your adrenaline rushes. In Queenstown, bungee jumping was born at Kawerau Bridge, where you can leap from 43 m high, the southern Alps wind howling, and the feeling of freedom is overwhelming. Heli fishing takes you over alpine glaciers, landing in pristine streams to fish for salmon, the water sparkling like jade. Milford Sound, a UNESCO wonder, invites you to kayak amid tumbling waterfalls, whales glimmering beside your boat. The Tongariro Crossing, a 19 kilometers journey through the Ngoroho volcano, the setting for Lord of the Rings, challenges you with lava and emerald valleys. In Abel Tasman National Park, you can swim with seals, surf golden sands and tropical rainforests. According to Tourism New Zealand, 1 million visitors a year flock to try adventures, from skydiving in Wanaka to surfing in Piha. Each activity is a declaration, live it to the fullest. Imagine bungee jumping in Kawerau, the bungee cords vibrating, the adrenaline pumping, the Alps hugging you as the wind howls. You scream, feeling like you've conquered the world. New Zealand cuisine is a symphony of flavors. Hangi, a Maori dish roasted on hot stones, brings out the smoky sweetness of meat and potatoes. Crispy paua, black baobab, green karang steamed in white wine is a seafood delicacy. Kina, sea urchin, is kiwi caviar, eaten fresh with lemon. Pavlova, a meringue cake crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, topped with kiwi, is the national dessert. Land pea, a local lemon soda, is bubbly like joy. Imagine sitting by the campfire, sipping hangi, listening to the waves, and New Zealand cuisine telling stories of the land and sky. New Zealand is a unique festival land. World of Wearable Art in Wellington turns metal and paper into avant-garde fashion, selling out in 48 hours. Pacifica Festival in Auckland recreates Polynesia with Fijian dance, Samoan drums, and food like palusami. The New Year Lantern Festival in Christchurch lights up 5,000 lanterns, with lion dances, dim sum. Imagine dancing to Pacifica, pounding Polynesian drums, or watching the twinkling lanterns. New Zealand feels like a world stage. Queenstown, South Island, is the heart of adventure. On Lake Wakatipu, you can ski at Coronet Peak, bungee jump at Nevis, or jet boat across the Shotover River. The onsen hot pools invite you to soak in the Alps. The Queenstown Winter Festival attracts 50,000 visitors with fireworks, live music. Imagine plunging into the Shotover River, splashing, the Alps all around, and Queenstown shouting, "Live it up." With 25 million sheep to a population of 5.3 million, 2025, sheep are the timeless symbol of New Zealand, representing the spirit of the green pastures. The ratio of 5 sheep to 1 person makes the fields of Otago a living painting, like a scene from The Hobbit. Here, you can walk sheep, waddle on a sheep leash, take selfies in the pasture, and learn to burseal sheep, a skill Kiwi farmers master like artists. The National Sheep Whistling Competition in Masterton is a fun festival where farmers show off their talking skills to sheep through unique flute melodies, attracting 10,000 visitors each year. Maori people use sheep's wool to weave kakahu, a traditional cloak that is a cultural symbol and a connection to the land. According to Beef Plus Lamb NZ, the sheep industry contributes $2.5 billion in exports from wool to meat. Farms like Walter Peak in Queenstown invite you to experience sheep shearing, feeding sheep, and listening to farmers tell stories of the pasture. Imagine leading a sheep through the Otago grasslands. It waddles along, the wind blows the green grass, the sun shines golden. The sheep's calf mingles with the farmer's flute, and you feel the simple, close life like in The Hobbit. Type 3 if you want to lead a sheep, or comment Kiwi sheep to share your feelings. New Zealand is waiting for you with the grasslands and the adorable calf. Kiwis live a slow, natural life. Wooden houses in Rotorua or Dunedin often have vegetable gardens and free-range chickens. People take off their shoes at the door and keep their homes clean. Cuba Street in Wellington is full of artists and cafes serving craft beer. According to Numbeo, 2025, New Zealand is ranked in the top 10 countries worth living in for its safety and clean air. Kiwis love their pets, 1.5 million dogs for 5.3 million people. Imagine sipping coffee on Cuba Street, your dog lying next to you, the sea breeze blowing, and feeling the leisurely pace of life. New Zealand is a budget destination. A one-bedroom apartment in Wellington costs $900 to $1,200 per month, in Christchurch $700 to $900. A meal at a cheap restaurant costs $12 to $18, beer $4. Electricity, water, internet $120 to $150 per month. Bus tickets $2 to $3, monthly pass $80. A person can live comfortably on $1,500 to $2,000 per month. Imagine living in Auckland, jogging along the beach in the morning, sipping beers at the pub in the evening, and still having a full wallet. New Zealand is a tourist paradise. 3-star hotels in Queenstown cost $80 to $120 per night, hostels $20 to $40. Street food like Kamara cakes $3 to $5. Flights from Australia Sydney 3 hours, $200 to $400 round trip, from the US Los Angeles 12 hours, $800 to $1,200. Vietnamese citizens need a visa through the New Zealand Embassy. Renting a car for $40 per day is ideal for exploring Milford Sound. Safe tourist area, but be careful when climbing. Imagine driving through the Alps, stopping for hangi, planning a stargazing trip in Tekapo. New Zealand, the last paradise on Earth, is a living testament to the beautiful harmony between man and nature. The Maori greet you with a hangi, touch your nose, exchange breaths, connect your soul, and teach you to love deeply. Hobbiton in Matamata, with its lovely round houses, tells Lord of the Rings fairy tales, and invites you to sip beer at the Green Dragon Inn. The Southern Alps, with Aoraki/Mount Cook, 724 m, challenge you to climb mountains and see green valleys stretching out. According to Tourism New Zealand, 3.5 million visitors a year are fascinated by Milford Sound, where whales dance, or Tongariro, with its smoking volcanoes. New Zealand teaches you to live authentically. Kiwis build log houses, raise sheep, take off their shoes at the door, and stargaze at Lake Tekapo, where Baimasakti shines like a spotlight. From the fragrant hangi, the waddling kiwi, to the bungee jump in Queenstown, every moment is a reminder: dream big, live life to the fullest. Imagine standing by Milford Bay, waves crashing, Maori telling stories of their ancestors, and the stars whispering about courage. Which do you love most? Share in the comments fragrant hangi, lovely kiwi, or the Queenstown bungee. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell to keep the adventure going. New Zealand is waiting for you with stars, grasslands, and endless stories.